So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to the Sensitive Stability BPD Live Show, where we go live Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. US EST, and also Tuesday night, that would be tonight, at 10 p.m. US EST, and we talk about topics related to borderline personality disorder. Welcome to the show, guys. Good morning, AJ. Good morning, David. So, today's topic is a special one. It's a topic that we don't get to touch on that often, but a topic that is extremely relevant and important when it comes to borderline personality disorder. And I know a lot of you are thinking, hey, is it another episode on splitting? No, it's not. It's an episode on minorities and BPD. It's an episode on trans and BPD. It's an episode on gay and BPD. It's an episode on men and BPD. It is an episode on Black, Chinese, Hispanic, Indian, Native American, excuse my language, the whole world. Now, I want to preface this live. Welcome, Laura. Hello, Nikki. I see you in there. I want to preface this live by saying my entire dissertation, that's my buddy Sam, for those of you who are in other streams, whenever you see that heart over somebody's head, just make sure they know his name is Sam. Okay? That's one thing you should take from this live. I'll start by saying I am a PhD candidate in my dissertation. Okay? I'm a BPD coach. This is what I do. I help people get to remission. Now, I have the unique ability of seeing all types of people. All types of people have BPD. And I think this is something that most people don't understand. It's everywhere. Good morning, Sue. Men have it. Children can get it. It's not just restricted to the Caucasian female. Now, for those of you who happen to be Caucasian female, you're still going to get a lot out of this because the stigma is real in general. And the more that it's stigmatized, the less likely you are to get seen, to get heard, and to get help. Now, the entire topic of my dissertation is trying to expand the demographics. I am quite literally trying to be the first study that has a more comprehensive demographic intake on the condition. I want to prove that BPD is impacting the entire world. It's not just white females, it's people of all backgrounds, it's people of all spiritual beliefs, it's people of all color, it's people of all, gender identity, sexual preference. It doesn't matter. If BPD wants you, BPD is going to get you. Trauma doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate. It will hit you when you least expect it. It will come out of nowhere. BPD in itself, thank you, AJ. BPD in itself is instigated by your environment. It starts out genetic. If you have the genetic precursors, you're way more likely to get it. That's pretty much how that works. Now, the ambiguous numbers that people think it is, 50% genetic, 50% environmentally activated, right? Well, I'll tell you what, okay? If you identify as gay, if you identify as trans, if you identify as a minority, if you identify as a man, you're less likely to be diagnosed with this. That affects everyone. It affects everybody who has borderline personality disorder. It's a big deal. And the underrepresented groups are less likely to get the help that they need. The groups that are represented are less likely to get the full spectrum of help that they could get, all because of the narrow-minded thinking of a few people who happen to run a few studies. Because that's who's driving all this. That's who's making it so difficult to get treated. It's not us. They say we have treatment sabotaging behavior, right? They say, oh, well, the reason it doesn't work is because you have treatment sabotaging behavior. Well, I say the reason it doesn't work is because you don't understand me. You don't get it. And if you got it, we wouldn't be having this problem. Everything would be copacetic, right? I'd walk in, you'd tell me what I need to do. I'd say, yeah, that's right. I'd go do it. And guess what would happen? I'd get better. Why doesn't it go down like that? Why are all of the therapy appointments the same? Why? How does that work? And how does that make any sense? How is that logical? You go in every single week, say the same stuff about the same things. They tell you the same stuff. You leave with the same lack of skills, lack of perspective changes. This is a frustrating situation we're in, and it's one that will not be corrected if nobody fights for it. So I want you to understand something about sensitive stability. Myself and also David Keck, who is our trauma coach with sensitive stability. Okay, I had the BPD side, he heads the trauma side, and all of our regulars here. Okay, people like AJ that you see moderating in the chat every day. Thank you, AJ. People like Liz and Laura, Sue, all of our supporters, Jeremy, if you're out there. Okay, there's a lot of you, deeply conflicted. I can go on and on and on and on, and I love each and every one of you. But our community has one thing in common, and that is that multiple strands of rope is stronger than a single strand, right? We bond together to make things better. This is why we have a Discord, because all of you wanted it. You wanted it because of what you get out of the community experience: camaraderie, support, allyship, standing together as allies, not against BPD, but against the stigma behind BPD. This is the reason our loved ones are struggling to get help. This is the reason that they say, oh no, nothing's wrong with me. If you're in that boat and you have a loved one, a partner, a child, a parent, a sibling, a friend who doesn't admit that they have this condition or they're struggling with it, this message is equally for you, because this condition does not discriminate. It doesn't care where you came from. It doesn't care what you look like. It doesn't care who you associate with. Well, it does a little bit, because that could totally spark this entire thing. So it does care a little bit about, some of these things to some extent, where you come from, your environment, right? But you know what I'm saying here. We all walk through the magic portal to decide whether or not we have borderline personality disorder, and probably about 6% of our population walks out the other side with a big fat stamp right on the middle of their forehead, BPD. And then they have to walk through life like that. I mean, who wants to walk through life with something that creates shame? That's just asking for more trauma. How much trauma can you take as a person? You have to start asking yourself. I started out with a poor deck of cards. Maybe dad wasn't around. Maybe I was adopted. Maybe my parents divorced early. Maybe they just invalidated me as a person. Maybe I had something really tragic happen to me at age 6, for example. That would be me, okay? Meanwhile, your parent might be displaying BPD symptoms, BPD episodes, BPD splits, BPD personality traits, man. They might be swallowing all types of stuff, substances, in order to cope with the deep pain. The reason that I might agree with the fact that BPD is a generational curse, and the only reason, is because it's genetic. And because your parents, they don't know how they got it. They didn't choose it either. Their parents didn't either. A lot of times it's passed down. Not all the time, but a lot of times. Remember, 50% genetic. Look, the point is, you can't help it if you have BPD. What you can do is help us change the stigma. You can help us correct the stigma. You could be a supporter. You can help demystify the concept that BPD people are not the untouchables, man. Most of us feel completely rejected our whole lives. I have a lot of clients who are gay. You know why that makes sense? You know why maybe the gay population? I have same with the trans population. I have a lot of clients that are trans. Do you know why a lot of people with BPD that come see me are gay or trans? It's because they had the genes just like I did. Okay, and then they go through trauma like crazy. Can you imagine the trauma? I mean, I can't personally imagine it, to be completely honest, because I don't identify with those types of minorities, but they sure the hell are out there. And somebody with some kind of platform has to stand up and start saying that it's not right, that there's underrepresented individuals who suffer from this condition and experience all of this extra trauma because of it. They're dealing with the damn BPD stigma, and then also the stigma of their life. And what we don't get is we're not choosing who we are. We are who we are. If you are a trans man, a trans woman, a gay man, a gay woman, somebody who's bi-curious, if you are somebody who is, a white guy, a white girl, you could get BPD, man. I don't know what to tell you. You could have the same damn genes. And then you go through trauma that activates that. Sometimes it's just as simple as, I know I'm gay, right? You go through life knowing that you're gay, with everybody trying to beat you into submission, to fall in line, do what's normal. If you have borderline personality disorder, then you completely understand where my frustration's coming from when I put normal in air quotes. Why is that? How many of you have heard behave normal, be normal, act normal, think normal, fit in like everybody else? Why the hell would you want to fit in with a society that condemns everything about you? Why would you want to fit in with a society that demonizes us, ostracizes us, ejects us, rejects us, criticizes us? It's not worth it sometimes. It's like that Keanu Reeves quote that I always say. If you are a client of mine, you probably heard me say this at least once. And that is, what do you do when someone mistreats you? What do? You say, thank you. Because there are 8 billion other people on the planet. Thank you for showing me that you are not worth my time. I'm going to move on to the 799,999,999 other people on Earth and spend my time with them. We waste too much time trying to change hurtful minds. We don't spend enough time loving ourselves and loving each other. We don't spend enough time bonding. We don't spend enough time building a community where we actually want to live in. If I had to go run off in the wilderness and start a random community, you know who I'm taking with me? All of you. All of you are invited to come to my magic lonely island. You know what I'm saying? And it won't be lonely. It will then be full of joy, full of companionship, full of support, full of camaraderie, man. Because this is why. It's because if you have BPD or you're in here and somebody that you love has BPD, it means you're a good person. Can you live with that? I mean, can you really? We don't love ourselves at all most of the time. Not even a little bit. We hate ourselves most of the time. But can you fathom the concept that you are a part of a community here where literally everybody embraces you and supports you? There is no hate here. There is no room for hate. We've had hate our whole lives for ourselves, for the world, for our parents, for everybody else. It's about time that we kind of stand up and form a bond, form an allyship. We need allies to get to remission fastest. If you're sick of living with this BS condition, guys, you're going to have to start doing things differently. And you know one thing you can do that's super easy, that's really simple? Show up here every day at 7 a.m. US EST, every day. When you miss it, they're up on YouTube. Go to YouTube. There's a link in my link tree. Click on the link. Go check it out. The people that get better fastest are the ones that dive in the most and are the most supportive. You know who I see move to remission the quickest? It's the people that start helping other people. It's the people in here who are helping other people. People like AJ, Liz, people like Laura. these individuals that you see in the live every day, right, who suffer from this right alongside me, they're proud to be here with me. They're proud to be a part of this community. Do you know why? It's because there's nothing but positive stuff going on here. We don't have time for games. We wasted most of our life with that. BPD owned the past, it owns the present, and right now it might own your future unless you make a decision, okay? Caleb says, since there is no cure for BPD, do you think when we are 80, we will still be having the same symptoms? Caleb, sorry, my bad. There is a cure. I hate to break it to you. I hate to be the bearer of contradiction. There's a cure. It's real. And the reason that you are conditioned into thinking that there is no cure is because that is what they tell you. They say there's no way out of this. Have fun with unstable relationships the rest of your life, Caleb. These are the kinds of things the therapists are telling us. The doctors say, there's no medicine, better get used to this, there's no cure, you'll have this for the rest of your life. The best you can do is manage your symptoms, DBT, have fun, goodbye. Well, there's a lot of different DBT programs out there. You can go to a therapist who you just pay the therapist hourly and they give you a DBT workbook and they say they practice DBT and you don't learn shit. Right? That's what happens there. Okay, I filled out a couple little neat charts about myself, but ultimately I didn't get any better. Then there's the extreme programs. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on DBT programs that are intensive. I've gone through an inpatient program that was structured around DBT. I got better for a little while, and then I went back to my life, and guess what? Right back at it, right? There is a cure. Just like the stigma needs to be reduced, okay, for all of the demographics that suffer from this, the stigma needs to be reduced surrounding the cure. Okay, so it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what your gender identity is. I don't care what your sexual preference is. I support everybody who wants to get better. You're all good people in my book. All equals. All equals. And you know what we have in common? We're trying to improve our lives and the ones that are closest to us. Whether you have BPD or you're a BPD partner, I guarantee you don't want your partner and your family to suffer. No matter what side you're on, we're all here for the same reason, guys. I need you to understand, trauma doesn't discriminate. It will hit you. It will beat you down if you don't get ahead of it. And it's almost impossible to predict it. It's almost impossible to stop it when it's happening because by definition, trauma is out of your control. 9 times out of 10, out of your control. Now, I'm still a big fan of taking responsibility for it. And that goes for everything. That goes for everything. If one of my gay friends calls me and they ask for advice with their relationship, they ask me for advice with BPD, with remission, I give them the most honest, direct advice I can. I also take into consideration their personal tribulations that are running alongside BPD. I'm not afraid to do that as a friend. You know why? Because my damn heart is right out here. It's right out in front of you. My intentions are completely in front of you. They are completely visible. They are totally transparent. JC, hopefully I said that name right. Do you actually feel better or are you just reacting in a more acceptable way? Excellent. I target and I experience what I call full remission. The classic psychological definition of this is less than 5 of the 9 symptoms, JC. So if you were to experience less than 5-9 symptoms in 6 months or more, the therapist or psychiatrist would likely say, okay, you no longer meet the dynamics of BPD. But what good is that if you still suffer fear of abandonment on a 10 out of 10? Like, that'll rip you to shreds and tear your whole life apart. It's nonsensical to focus on just fixing some things. Thank you, Sue. What makes sense, guys, is focusing on curing all of it. If you can get rid of a couple things, why the hell stop there? Instead, change your thinking. Well, what I did to solve this worked. It's not working for the fear of abandonment. Maybe I need a different skill. Maybe I need a different perspective change. Maybe a little more validation will solve this problem. Think out of the box. Don't fall victim to these kinds of things. And for those of you on YouTube, hello. This is an experiment for me. So we go live on TikTok, 7 a.m. US EST, Monday through Friday. Cami says, at Miss List, does processing trauma reduce symptoms? Processing anything when it comes to this condition gives you a massive leg over beating symptoms, over beating triggers, over beating episodes, over beating splits. Half of this battle is awareness. The higher it is, the better the odds. You don't know how to fight your way out of a paper bag until you know you're in one. You know what I mean? The second you realize I'm actually in this paper bag, I got to get out of here, your whole life changes. You thought you just had these few tools to your disposal and, this was a big dome. All right. So thanks, Jill. I appreciate the kindness this morning. Guys, for those of you who are joining late, today's topic is discrimination and BPD. It is about the stigma behind BPD. It is partly about my dissertation, which focuses on widening the demographics, and it is recognizing the fact that there are people who are struggling from several other things right alongside. There are gay people who have been struggling and trans people who are struggling to fit into society already, which is a shame in general. The whole thing is a damn shame. The whole thing is messed up, right? But we have to accept differences and shifts and stigmas. We have to change the paradigm. Anyone can suffer from BPD. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what you believe in. You can suffer from this. You're valid. Okay? So now we focus on what do we do about it, right? Cami says the reference was about EMDR processing. Oh, okay. EMDR, it's a bilateral movement of the eyes back and forth with a focus on trauma in terms of trying to alleviate some of the traumatic stress and put you in a better place. Now, I have heard good things about EMDR. I have also heard and read studies that were good, but also have heard and read stories and studies that, it doesn't work. I think it's just like anything else that it is what you make it. If you go in there and they tell you to focus on a specific trauma and you have a traumatic experience doing this, with your eyeballs for like 10 minutes or whatever it may be, I've never tried it, so I don't know how long it lasts. And it works, hell yeah. Let's get more of that going. You know what I mean? Whatever you take that makes it better, whatever's making it better, keep doing that. Now, I would say that EMDR isn't enough for sure. I've never heard of it completely curing anybody or getting them close, but I have heard good things about trauma. Now, there's other techniques to get out of trauma. We have a whole specialist for that. David Keck, the moderator you see in the channel every day here, who's helping out tremendously and making sure you're seen and heard. He is our trauma coach. He specializes in helping alleviate and dismantle and eliminate the trauma. When you do our BPD remission program, it comes with a session with David for a reason. It's because I will identify certain things on this journey with you, because we work together every day. I'll know, and I'll say, right now is the time when they need to go to David. And I'll tell David, I'll say, hey, can I share everything that we've talked about? The client usually says yes. In fact, I've never had them say no because that's beneficial. You want to save time in your session with him. You don't want to spend the first hour catching David up to everything you've told me. So I brief David. Then I give David very specific instructions on how to eliminate trauma. The trauma that you're going through. And he's quite good at it. Everybody always comes back and they have a completely different perspective. We're over the hurdle and we're back to running and jumping as fast as we can. I love everybody being in here. I love everybody being different, yet we have this common bond. I love that we can have an environment here where no one is shamed for their perspective, their view on life, their identity, what they want, what they're dreaming of. And for those of you on YouTube, I might not be able to keep an eye on the comments. Just letting you know that's an experiment. We go live on TikTok primarily. So flip on over there if you want to ask some questions. I'm not ignoring you. You guys can always email me, okay? You just go to the website, go to my link tree in my bio if you're on TikTok, go to the site, send me an email. I take the time to respond to all these, and I really do care about it. I know what it's like to go through this because I lived through this. I lived through this myself firsthand, okay? I experienced the worst of the worst when it came to BPD. But you know one thing, I also experienced it being a male. And that was very difficult. It was very hard. I grew up in a time and a place where I was taught to not shed tears, not show emotion, be strong. You know, I'm being a fill in the blank, some type of weakling, for showing any signs of weakness. Now, instead of giving me a helping hand up, the world chooses to beat me down for it and penalize me for any time that I have any type of issue. Now, that doesn't seem fair, right? But what does fair mean? Because each one of us is going through our own struggle. Each one of us is going through our own pains. But it's like Liz says here, strength in numbers. We want to change the way that it works. We want to make a dent in the universe. Let's start in our own backyard, guys. You know? Let's show that we can stand united as allies throughout the worst of the worst. Let's not make a mistake and let BPD just get dragged through the mud. By the way, in case I haven't mentioned it this show, it's a superpower. Borderline personality disorder is a superpower in disguise, guys. That's what it is. XCU says, does a guy with BPD who breaks up with you regret not committing to you later in life? I'll say this to you, XCU. Without knowing your personal story, if you want a more personal answer, please do email me and I'll take the time to do that for you, okay? Let me know more of the circumstances. But to give you a blanket answer here, whether you're a guy or a girl or of any type of identity or preference, you can fit any BPD paradigm. And there's no way to really tell if somebody wants to come back, but I will tell you one thing. If it was a romantic relationship that you were in, and this guy had BPD, and he split on you, right? He breaks up with you all of a sudden. It's very erratic. I know that there's regret, massive regret. We don't like doing that to people. We feel crummy about it afterwards. We know deep down there was a better way to handle that. We just didn't have the skill to do it. Didn't have the perspective change to do it. And if it was a romantic relationship, we almost always come back at some point. You know, even if it's just to say hi, get closure, say I'm sorry, or to full on fix it, we almost always come back. So email me, don't be shy, tell me your story. I'll give you a thorough response. Quinn says, does BPD show up more in certain genders or does it not discriminate? It does not discriminate. We used to think that it was a condition that was only for Caucasian females. And men, in fact, used to get diagnosed with something called antisocial personality disorder, which is in fact its own behavioral thing. And although cluster B and semi-related, not borderline personality disorder. Now, later in time, like today, more men are being diagnosed with this every day. You know, more people are being diagnosed with this every day, regardless of their background. Gay, straight, trans, bi, whatever. Man, woman, doesn't matter. You can get it. Period. Now, that's not a bad thing. Quinn, if you have BPD and nobody's ever told you that this is the best thing that ever happened to you, let me be the first to tell you that right now. It is the best thing that ever happened to you. You just don't know it yet because we're bashing into the walls. Trying really hard not to bash into the walls. Moving down the hallway, smack, 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 right? Everybody else is walking in a straight line. We're wondering what's wrong with us. How come they can do it? How come they can walk straight? What's up with us? Thank you for the teddy bear, Krista. I appreciate that. And I replied to your email too. I think I'm waiting on you. But I'll check again soon. So guys, we have to recalibrate how we're looking at the world. We have to recalibrate how we're looking at each other. If you're here, it's because you're suffering or you want to help other people who are suffering. Those are the two reasons. Maybe you're somebody who's in remission right now. Well, You're here because you want to help other people, right? I mean, that's the number one reason. Maybe you're a partner. Maybe you're a loved one. You're here because you want to help someone else. Maybe you have BPD. Well, let's help you first, and then you can help other people. Because y'all have what it takes. Every single one of you has what it takes to do whatever you want to do in life. That is always going to be true. Don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise. No one. Not even a doctor. Not even a doctor. You can beat this if you try. You can be the anomaly. I know I am. J&V, nice to see you again, says, if you let your partner with BPD know they hurt you, but they avoid speaking with you, should you just drop it? If you let your partner with BPD know that they hurt you, okay, and they avoid speaking about it, should you just drop it? Okay, that's a great question. So in this scenario, for example, I have BPD, okay, and my wife does not, and I have done something to hurt her. Thanks, Jill, I appreciate it. I've done something to hurt her feelings, right? Now, she says to me, Kevin, that really upset me when you said X, Y, Z. And I want to avoid that. I don't want to take ownership of it. I'm pushing it away. Should you drop it? Well, here's the situation. If they are trying to get better and they are actively enrolled in something that works, like the program I offer, then we might give them some leeway because we have a higher mentality and understanding that something is wrong, and we have empathy for them and we want it to be fixed. So maybe let the small battles go because it's just not worth it. Now, if you can't do that without sacrificing dignity or without building resentment, then there is a core value difference between you two, which will always be an issue, and it absolutely has to be resolved. It will continue to create fights, and that is a part of their journey, to learn how to navigate communication, to learn how to, thank you, Zach. And I see you in there too, Ruthie and D. Baldwin. Nice to see all of you again. Excuse me, nice to see you again. We have to let some things go because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You have too many bigger battles. Bigger battles. And on YouTube, no, I can't read the comments over there. It's too hard with two platforms. This is an experiment. We go live primarily on TikTok. So check us out there or send me an email. That goes for anybody on TikTok too. Don't be shy, guys. I want to hear the story. I want to offer my opinion, and I will. I will. And I'll always be honest with you. This is one place on earth where you can always be honest with me, and I will always be honest with you. Now, if you are wondering how this program works, it's I become a part of your life throughout the program, and then we often become friends afterwards. So that's how it goes. I'm all up in your life, and I already know everything that's going on. And I start to learn you, and I start to learn exactly what you've been through, and I start to hear the journey, and I start to hear the struggles, and I start to hear, the stigmas that you face with your own personal decisions. It's not easy being a black woman in America. It's not easy being, gay anywhere almost. It's not easy being a trans person in this world. It's not easy being, curious about anything even. I mean, even from the stance of curiosity, the wrist is slapped. Now, you go deeper than that. You say there are people who they identify a certain way. They're up against hell every single day trying to ensure that they have a place in the world where they feel like they belong, where they're good enough. And then you're going to slap BPD on top of that. I mean, that's tough, man. That's a hard scenario to be in. Show says, recently I've been close to splitting on my partner. I don't know how much longer I can keep stopping myself. If you are getting close to a split, no matter who you are or what your background is, and you don't know what to do, okay, the first step is to understand that the emotional tank is too high. It's too high. If you feel it coming on and you know you're that close and it's dangerously close and it's really freaking you out, it means that the emotional tank is way too high. So you need to start diving into that tank and figuring out what is in that tank. When did it start? Did it start down here this morning? Did it start yesterday? Am I carrying something from last week? What is it? What is it that I'm carrying? And to what degree? How bad? How bad is it? Thanks, Liz. That was really creative what you just did there. I really appreciate that. We have to care about every aspect of our lives in order to avoid splitting in episodes. This can't just be a part-time thing. I'm going to therapy twice a week. That's why my program works, because you don't just do sessions with me. We're chatting every damn day. And I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I want to know everything that happens in between our sessions. I want to know how your life's going. I want to know how your day's going. If I don't hear from you one day, I'm freaking out. You know what I mean? I'm freaking out. Because is it a split? Is it an episode? Is there depression? What's holding us back? Kiki says, what's on the Discord? David Keck, by the way, if you have questions or comments in TikTok, he can see that you are seen and heard. Just reference him. He is our trauma coach and also our moderator. The Discord is a place for the conversation to continue after the lives. You'll see a lot of the same people that you see show up here at the lives every day. You'll see David and I stop by when we can. David a little bit more than me right at the moment, but sometimes that flip-flops. So we do what we can, but we wanted to give you guys a place where it was safe, where you could always be honest, where you could share your tribulations, where you could have camaraderie, where you could have a relentless support system. Because when they say BPD warrior, you ever heard of that? The real warriors are in the Discord, man. These people are in it to win it, and they're here to build a better world, and they're starting in their own backyard, and it is the most admirable thing that you can do. Build a better life, because if you're not making someone else's life better, then what the hell are you doing? What's the point? Why? Why do it? Nikki said, I split on myself and my own thoughts and feelings. You could split on anything, including yourself. Now, that's even harder when you're coming from a place where you are a minority. When you are coming from a place where you're a minority, it is even tougher, because you're going through life trying to seek two types of validation from the outside world, of which, by the way, all of our journey is still the same. The most supreme validation is always going to come right here, inside. Nobody can give it to you. Nobody can take it from you either when you get it. It is not something fleeting. It is not empty weight. It is not bullshit. You know who you are, and when you know it, you know it. When you know it, you love yourself. When you love yourself, you validate your position in the world. And it doesn't matter what background you come from. But going into this, it's like getting thrown in the damn deep end with no floaties on. You know what I mean? Never know how to swim. Swim. Have fun. By the way, sharks everywhere. All over the place. Circling you right now. You 6 years old? Have fun with the sharks. Bye-bye. Right? That's what it's like living with any type of belief system or identity that doesn't fall in the confines of social norm. So everybody in here can relate to that. You have a loved one with BPD, they're outside of social norm. You have BPD, you're outside of social norm. You're right next to a gay black guy, okay? A trans girl, a white straight guy, a Caucasian female, a Hispanic, a child, an 84-year-old woman. We're all in the same boat. Are we going to paddle together or just let this thing sink? We got to start banding together here and changing the way we look at things. And it also removes the stigma. This should be one place on earth where you guys can all come and be totally honest. I mean, you can't say everything on these social platforms or they'll literally just ban us. That's what the Discord's for, by the way. You want to be completely transparent and get real support? Go to the Discord, okay? Link in my link tree in the profile. Cami says, I've isolated for so long, I don't exactly know how to engage in a real community. You're engaging right now, Cami. I see you in here all the time. All the time. I look for you every day. I look for a lot of you every day. And the days that you guys don't show up, I kind of think I'm a little depressed about it. I kind of think about it and I'm like, I didn't get my daily dose of Laura today. Didn't see Cami commenting today. You know, I haven't seen Jeremy in here today, and it bothers the hell out of me. Bothers the hell out of me. So Jeremy, if you're out there, say hi, man. I haven't been really watching the comments that much, but I'll say, Like, I look for you guys every day. You become a part of my life as much as I become a part of yours. You know, it's because you can't do it alone. Someone who has gotten through here has to stand up for you and tell you there's another way to live. You can be comfortable in your own skin. You can absolutely do it here. No matter who you are, what background you come from, what you identify with in life. I love you. I do. And you have potential. Even if you don't see it. I see it. I feel it in my chest. Do you know? You're going to have to repin this one. Sorry about that. Thanks, Zach. Do you know what it feels like to be in this live every day with all of you and know that in 6 months from now, you guys are going to be the best versions of yourselves doing whatever it is that you dream of. And that's going to be some fantastic, ridiculous thing that makes a giant impact on the world. I am in a room full of superheroes. I'm in a room full of winners. These are the people in this room who make the real dents in the universe. And the dent's so big, so drastic, so critical, it'll pop a hole right in that atmosphere and all the air will get sucked up out in outer space. And we'll go live up there, where we'll build our own world. I'm serious, man. Lee Akers, sorry I went on this tangent here. I see your question. What does split on myself mean? Splitting is black and white thinking. Okay, this is a very relevant question to our trauma has no discrimination theme today too, by the way. Okay, splitting is black and white thinking. You go from thinking something is really, really good to thinking something is really, really bad. And we always think about it in terms of a person. You split on your partner, meaning I used to love you and now all of a sudden I hate you instantaneously, right? That's a split. You could split on a job. Oh, I really liked this job for the last 20 years. Something happens all of a sudden today. I hate it. It's the worst thing that ever happened to me. I got to get out of here. I quit. That's a split. You could split on yourself. I'm a great person. I do great things. Everybody loves me. My world is perfect. My wife is perfect. I love everything about this. And then the next second, I hate myself. Massive self-loathing. I can't think of one good thing about myself. Everybody deserves to have a life without me. I deserve to feel punishment and pain. That's a split on yourself. That's an example. You can split many ways. Krista says, what are your thoughts on shadow work? I am really trying to do anything to get better. Shadow work is something that's come up multiple times, and I do have a lot to say about shadow work and also similar things. So I am going to make that a live for you, Krista, this week, where we can go more in depth and I can give you more than I can in a simple answer. So tune in. Maybe that'll be part of tomorrow's show. I do the shows as we go. I listen to you guys throughout the comments. I make decisions based on how many times I hear things. If I hear somebody bring up something more than once, then that's a sign that it's probably a good topic. So maybe we'll go over things like EMDR, shadow work, and a bunch of other things. Maybe a handful of nuanced types of stuff to give you guys an idea of what's out there. Some of which I've tried personally, some of which I just know about, but we'll talk about all of it. Thank you, Liz. The Discord link is inside, it's pinned right now, but it's inside my profile in the link tree. The Discord is where the conversation continues. You'll see all these same happy faces here who supported you this morning. And the Discord throughout the day. It makes life a lot easier. I send everybody the Discord lately. It's brand new, basically. We've had it for less than a month, but the amount of support and information and energy and compassion and passion and love and allyship that we're getting out of the Discord is tremendous. And that's one thing I want you guys to know. This live was my idea today. Sometimes the ideas are David's idea. You know, this live was my idea, and David left me with one piece of advice before I went live this morning, and that was that allyship. Allyship is such a strong word. And he drilled that word in my head. You know why? Because he's smart enough to understand what it takes to get to remission fastest. He's smart enough to understand what it takes to cure BPD. He's smart enough to understand what keeps us happy on a daily basis. He's smart enough to get that this is about camaraderie. He's smart enough to understand the whole concept here. And I know that all of you are too, because you keep coming back. You keep coming back because you know it's a safe place. You know you're going to get better. I love that about each and every one of you. I love that about us, man. We are resilient. Mr. Rudo, nice to meet you. Isn't it important to establish that some things should be established as good and bad? Yes, Mr. Rudo. Some splits are not bad. Some splits are good. Say you have a substance habit you want to kick, and you go from thinking it's great to overnight thinking alcohol is the devil. I want nothing to do with it ever again. I'm done. Done right now. That's probably a great split if you were an alcoholic and you were suffering. If you have a bad group of friends leading you down bad choices in life, making you, depressed or, missing out on the world, it's probably a good split to split on those individuals. You see what I'm saying? You have to use some objective analysis here, but the term splitting, it has a stigma as well, which is that it's a negative thing. It's not always a negative thing. I often say that all the negative stuff when it comes to borderline personality disorder is actually a huge positive when you're in remission. You see the world differently. You have more empathy. You have different perspectives. You have more skills. You have influence instead of manipulation. You used to manipulate people. Now you influence them. Anka, nice to see you here. I invited Anka to the live, and Anka is here. So nice. And I did see you join the Discord, Anka. So welcome, okay? This is the place to be to get better. Anka is a friend of mine. How to define episodes. What are the similarities with bipolar episodes? Okay, so episodes are adult temper tantrums, okay? Anybody can throw an adult temper tantrum, but ours as BPD individuals are usually very erratic, very impulsive, very extreme. The bipolar, manic, and episode-like behavior can also be extreme, but it's usually followed by periods of great depression for a long period of time. It's a much longer mood swing, if you will. They also typically don't have the fear of abandonment, which plays into a lot of our episodes. Jealousy, the favorite person complex, spawn in our episodes. Splitting is often very similar, in my opinion, though. Hope that helps a little bit. J&V says, at what point do you know if medication is helping for that and you should stop and get off of it? Look, my stance on medication is simple. I'm going to say a few things about it really quickly here. Firstly, there's no medicine for borderline personality disorder. If you are getting medicine from a doctor, a nurse practitioner, or any type of psychiatrist, whatever it may be, that medicine is for a symptom or it's for some misdiagnoses that you might have, okay? So if they're giving you antidepressants, that's not going to treat BPD. That's going to treat depression. And does it work? I've never had one work. It's made me feel like a zombie. It's made me feel terrible. In fact, all the fears that we have as BPD people in terms of trying to get better? We're afraid it's going to change who we are. We're afraid it's going to change our personality. We're afraid it's going to make us a zombie, eat too much, sleep too much, lose our ambition, lose our charisma, lose our drive, lose our heart, lose ourselves, whatever little bit we know of, right? These things are only experienced, thank you, Krista, when I took medicine. And that's what I see in my clients. 80%-ish, about 80% of my clients are actively on medicines, and they still find me saying, thanks, Cammie. Thank you, guys. They still find me saying, damn, it's still getting me. BPD has still got me. And I'm like, well, what medicines you on? They're like, this. And I'm like, Jesus, man, Now, I'll say this too. Do not stop your medicines cold turkey. Okay? Thank you, guys. Thanks for everything. You guys are super loving today. And I look super great in hats and all sorts of weird stuff, apparently, that I would have never seen on myself otherwise. Baseball caps, don't wear them. Lays, whatever you call those Hawaiian things, that's new to me. Never worn one before. Anyway, the medicines, if you're going to stop them, you need to work with your doctor and tell them your intent and get them to help you wean off. If you do it cold turkey, a lot of these medicines have a lot of problems, brain zaps, seizures, and I know you might not want to be on it, but there's a way off of it. And if it is working, then there's no need to get off of it, right? But I've often found, thank you, man. Appreciate that, AJ. I look best with the cowboy one on. I think that getting rid of medicine is a personal choice. If you see no real benefit, I will tell you right now that there are some medicines that will do some things. I got a little bit of use out of Abilify, but not at the 2 milligrams they prescribe me. And a lot of you end up coming to me saying that you have 10 milligrams of Abilify. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, when I took 2 milligrams of Abilify, I was like this all day, didn't care about anything. And sure, I didn't have episodes or splits, but I didn't have a damn life. I didn't have a fiber to move in my body. I was just a lump of potatoes. It was crazy. You have to repin this one, man. I'm going to finish up the medicine thing here because it's real important. If you do want to get off of them, you must work with your doctors. You absolutely must help work with them in terms of lowering them out. When I was getting a little bit of edge off of Abilify to get some skills under my belt, I was taking 0.5 milligram of that pill a day. I did that on my own, though. That was a personal choice, and I weaned off of it very systematically. And that's what I did, and it was fine. But it's because I didn't go cold turkey. You know what I mean? They say there's no therapeutic benefit at the 5.5 milligrams, but I disagree heavily. I thought there was some. Still, it's not needed. I mean, ultimately, like, if you have BPD, what you need are skills, perspective changes, self-validation, and for somebody to believe in you in the way that you deserve to be believed in. Triple Moon, sorry for the delay in my response here. I do see you. Thank you for pinning the comments, guys. AJ and David Keck are our moderators. They do a great job, so cheers to them. Hats off to you guys, really. Hair looks terrible, right? That's why the hat stays on. But that was for you guys, and Liz and everybody else who's doing a great job. Laura, thank you. My partner with BPD is going through a big split and has gone ghost. What can I do? Triple Moon, my heart goes out to you because the split is one of the most painful things to have to go through when you are a partner, as you are well experiencing right now. Going ghost is no fun. It is a control mechanism because we want to remain in control of ourselves. And if we think something's too emotional, getting too out of hand, we're losing ourselves too much, it's sometimes easier to blame someone else and cut it off and just suffer. And we do it, ironically, most of the time. I'm going to be honest with you. We do it to punish ourselves, like 90% of the time. It's not even about you. It's about us. And I will tell you, in most cases, with romantic splits, the partner usually comes back, usually sooner than later. It's not the same as splitting on a friend, where you can cut them out for 10, 20 years and actually remain steadfast, stubborn about that. It's actually quite hard to cut out someone that you shared an emotional love and bond and passion with forever. And they're guilty. They're feeling shame, man. They're feeling embarrassment, okay? That's part of this. You can do things to try to improve the situation dramatically, but it's more than I can tell you in this one answer here. So please send me your full story. You can click on my profile, shoot me an email, tell me the details, get as deep as you can. Or if you don't know what to say, just say hi. I'll know what to say to you, and we'll figure it out. But I'll give you a more personalized opinion and try to guide you best I can. I always like, for every time any of you see my face, read my email, anytime you interact with me, if you're a client and we're texting, I always want you to get something out of it every time we interact. That's my goal every time. Right now, I want you to leave with stuff that matters. Now, we're on the part here where we're gonna start wrapping it around and closing off the live. We stop at 8, okay? So I want to refocus on the number one mission for the day. Thank you so much, Jill. Thank you, guys. It does help. The gifts and stuff go towards our advertising fees. It helps us reach more people who need help. So thank you. So do the subscriptions. Those of you who subscribe, you're just helping us reach other people. The money gets rolled right back into it, right back into the next person who needs help. So the whole theme today here is that, and this will be the theme of our live tonight as well, when David joins me and brings on his perspectives. We'll be doing Trauma Tuesday tonight at 10 p.m. US EST, where we will be carrying on this conversation to some extent with David steering the boat, okay? I always love those ones. I think less, I give answers. It's real nice. It's real nice. So if you haven't been there, check it out, okay? 10 p.m. US EST tonight. Now, today's topic was discrimination does not care. I'm sorry, trauma does not care. It does not discriminate. A lot of us are coming from different places. We don't take into account our personal tribulations and how they stack up with BPD a lot of times. And I know that there's no one size fit all out there. That's why DBT doesn't work. That's why CBT doesn't work. That's why therapy doesn't work. It's because they're all one size fit all models. What makes this model work, the BPD remission program here at Sensitive Stability, is that my and David's heart go into your life. You get our heart throughout the duration of this program and beyond. We end up being friends with everybody. That's the truth. So that's what makes it different. But we don't care where you come from. It's a safe place. We don't care. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference, man. You're all suffering from the same thing. Yet look at how different we all are. Can we just appreciate for a minute how amazing it is that we're all here? I see you in there, Ryan. I see you, Ruthie. I see you, Zach. Guys, we are the future of borderline personality disorder, okay? I'm telling you, full remission is what changes this. And if you guys don't get on board and get to full remission, we can't change it. We have to show them we can do it. You get that part. We have to show the world that they're wrong. There's a cure. Look at me. You know what? It would help us if we got to 10K likes. I'd never asked for anything like this before, but can we get to 10K likes? Because that would be really helpful. It would really help us out. The channel is growing, but we need to reach more people. Smash the like button for me one time. I'll never ask you guys again. Get it up there. Thank you. I appreciate that. See if we can do that. Look, we can get rid of the symptoms. I swear to God, it's that easy. I swear to God. If you listen to me like you did with the like button, and you listen to me when I say jump, and you jump, life will improve. And I have resources. I will help you through every bit of this. My goal isn't just to get you to classic remission. We want no symptoms. We want no episodes. We want no splits. We want people to accept us. We want to accept ourselves. We want to feel loved. We want to be able to give love to the world and actually be understood. And when we're not, we want to have patience. We want to have empathy. That was perfectly timed with my hands. I looked like I spawned that out of thin air. You know what? Everybody here is amazing to me. You guys are great, and I cannot wait to see everybody's journey come to the point of the cure. We just started going live on TikTok a month ago again. We're at C5. It's because you guys come every day. We wouldn't be able to help these people. We wouldn't be able to reach these people if we didn't band together, and we can't band together following some dumbass paradigm that society constructs. We have to wake up here and realize that the best people in the world are right here. David Pins, we hit more than 10K. Thank you. I really want us to save the world one BPD person at a time. And that is how you have to do it. But you guys might have powers that are way bigger than me. I believe in each one of you. And who knows what you're going to do? Who knows what problems you're going to go off into the world and cure when you're better? Can you imagine? What is it that you wanted to do in life when you were a kid, back before they beat you into submission? What did you want? Where did you want to go? Who did you see your future with? At some point, we have to start admitting to ourselves that it's in our own power. That's way too loud, I think, maybe. Let me lower it down a little bit for you guys. At some point, we got to admit to ourselves, it's not our fault that our parents had an alcohol problem. It's not our fault that maybe one of them had BPD. It's not our fault that we got bullied in high school. It's not our fault that we had a traumatic experience when we were 6. It's none of these things. You know what it is? It's your responsibility to build the life you want to build. And more importantly, I want you to look further than that hill. I want you to pull out your telescope and I want you to look further. What happens after you build the life that you want to build? What happens after that? Do you help other people? Do you change the way that we look at the world? Do you build things that other people can use? We have to shake off that erroneous notion that life is just there and you're just going to live in it rather than embrace it, change it, improve it, make your mark upon it. And once you learn that, you'll never be the same again. It's the round pegs in the square holes, guys, that make the dent that we all want to see happen. So help me make that dent. Catch up with us again. Tomorrow's live, 7 a.m. US EST. Show up Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. US EST. Let's try to make the biggest dent that we can make as BPD people. And I guarantee you it's going to be a whole lot bigger of a dent than what you see out there right now, okay? Stick with me, guys. I'd love to see you tonight, 10 p.m. US EST for Trauma Tuesday with David Keck, our wonderful moderator, sensitive stability coach. And thank you for everything that you are for me, okay? Because you guys make my day. I get up for you guys, and I love it. Have a good one. Selfishly, I want you to do something that's really fun today and not anything that's really negative because I hate being associated with negativity. Have a good one. See you soon.